Perkins, known for his brash personality and fearless approach on the court, has never been one to shy away from controversy. And this time, he has gone after one of the most talented and exciting players in the league, Luka Doncic. The Dallas Mavericks star has been making waves since he entered the league, dazzling fans with his unique style of play and exceptional skills on the court. But the Mavericks' poor run through the season has made him a scapegoat and a victim of his own success. So what did Perkins actually say about Doncic, and why did he say that? Join us in this video as we evaluate all angles of Kendrick Perkins' shot at Luka Doncic. This is not a video you would forgive yourself for missing any moment, so watch till the end. Kendrick Perkins would like to see Luka change. Doncic has come under fire, even though he has managed to play decent basketball for Dallas despite the Mavericks' recent collapse. His body language, both on and off the court, has become more unsettling. However, as it seems that his anger at the Mavericks organization has reached an all-time high. In addition, the way Doncic conducts himself may dissuade potential players from joining Dallas. Recently, Kendrick Perkins aired his thoughts on the Dallas Mavericks. Perkins spoke in particular about Mavericks player Luka Doncic. The conversation around Doncic has dominated the league. Nevertheless, giving the NBA All-Star his bouquet of roses hasn't always been the goal. Like many others, Perkins believes Luka has to make some significant adjustments this offseason. According to Perkins, players seeking for a new team will be put off by Luka's style of play. He's a spectacular player, but when it comes down to being that guy that's attractive to say, man, I want to go over here and hoop with Luka. Right now, Luka Doncic is not that guy. He has to change some things about himself. It's not the first time Perkins has cited Doncic as the reason for the Mavericks' problems. And it probably won't be the last either, particularly as the Mavs lost to the Bulls, who were missing their key players on Friday night. But is Perkins' criticism justified? Does he even have a point? The Mavericks seem to get worse when adding Kyrie Irving to the roster. A move that should have made Dallas a better team has failed. But that doesn't fall on the shoulders of Irving. However, it does fall on the player who wants to be the leader. Doncic has been looking quite fed up during his time on the court, but he's still been doing everything to lead Dallas to victory. It just isn't working for him. While everyone is looking for one sole person to blame in Dallas, the reality is there are multiple parties responsible for their downfall. The players haven't been performing well, Jason Kidd's coaching hasn't been up to standard, and the front staff botched the opportunity to develop a strong team around Doncic. While Perkins is clearly right that Doncic has to improve in some areas, the constant criticism is a little excessive, particularly in light of how impressive Doncic has been this season. All season long, the Mavericks have been a fantastic offensive club. Their defense, though, has been utterly humiliating. Doncic has admitted that the team's lack of defense is his fault. The team's top player from Europe recently said that he has to improve on the defensive end if they are to win. The Dallas Mavericks are in a very precarious position with only one game remaining in the 2022-23 regular season after losing a crucial Friday night matchup against the Chicago Bulls, a contest that may have maintained their chances of making the play-in tournament. But with the team continuing to struggle, Kendrick Perkins has continued to bang the anti-Doncic drum loud and proud, this time calling out Doncic for being a guy that other superstars don't want to play with. The Mavericks season, however, isn't officially over yet, even though it is anyway, as the team is in a must-win situation on Sunday night against the San Antonio Spurs, a game that could see the Mavericks down a few players. Let's take a look at how the Dallas' 2022-23 season run was. The Dallas Mavericks NBA season 2022-23 cruelly came to an end on Friday. Dallas was officially eliminated from playoff contention after their 115-112 defeat to the Chicago Bulls, even though they still have one regular season game left before the season ends. Nobody anticipated this result before the season started, but it is the one the team came up with for themselves. Dallas seemed to be a shell of the group that advanced to the Western Conference Finals the previous year. Despite Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving's brilliance, the Mavericks played mediocre basketball as they suffered defeat after defeat. The team built its identity looking for answers while never trying to find them. To prevent making the same terrible choices that ruined this season, the front management must now do intense introspection. I think understanding our record or being eliminated isn't something that we want to be at, and we got some work to do this summer, Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd said. But understand things happen. It wasn't our season. We got to learn from this, and we'll get better. The Mavericks gave up on the Bulls after a succession of embarrassing setbacks in the postseason, including 2 losses to the Charlotte Hornets. Irving, Josh Green, Tim Hardaway Jr., Christian Wood, and Maxi Kleber were the notable Dallas players that sat out. Doncic played just 12.5 minutes. Without I Feel Slovenia night, a collaboration between the Mavericks and the Slovenian Tourism Board, he probably wouldn't have even dressed. It was a calculated move to lose to the Bulls, and it made sense. The Mavericks maintained their first-round selection in the 2023 NBA draft by not making the playoffs. Otherwise, the top 10 protected pick would have gone to the New York Knicks. They also enter the NBA draft lottery in what is seen as a stacked draft class. The draft holds some potential for the franchise after a crippling and unsuccessful experience. However, that doesn't make up for the fact that Doncic's abilities were wasted for a full season. Expectations were increased by the team's appearance in the Western Conference Finals the previous season, but personnel decisions, specifically letting Jalen Brunson walk, quickly derailed whatever advancements the organization was making. The Mavericks' season-ending trade deadline acquisition of multi-time All-Star Irving rekindled optimism that they may turn things around. The team's huge swing, however, didn't work out. Despite having complementary skills, Irving and Doncic never gelled together on the court. Dallas's record during the time the two stars shared the floor was 5-11. The front staff is doing all it can to please Doncic while grappling with the failure and disappointment of the season. According to ESPN, the squad is under pressure to take something that would put them back in the running for the title defense before Doncic loses patience. It's a difficult task. Irving becomes an unrestricted free agent this summer. He enjoyed playing in Dallas, according to the players, but it doesn't always mean he'll stay. Even Mavericks owner Mark Cuban recently said that he believes there's always too high a price to keep Irving, opening the possibility for another club to outbid the Mavericks and get the contentious point guard. The front office has a number of personnel choices to make, including one involving Irving. He will be joined in unrestricted free agency by Christian Wood, Dwight Powell, Frank Ntilikina, Markieff Morris, Justin Holiday, and Pinson. Another issue is Kidd's management of the on-court product. Despite Cuban's assurance that Kidd's position is secure, there's little doubt that he is largely to blame for the season's inadequacies. Kidd once likened his position as head coach to that of a spectator. Also, he depended on erratic and careless lineup changes rather than utilizing his players' strengths and playing to what was effective on the field. It was obvious months ago that the organization and fans would both be relieved when the 2022-23 season came to a close. Everyone can only put up with so much torturous mediocrity. The emphasis is now on the future. The Mavericks must make every effort to get beyond this administrative blunder and achieve their goals. No doubt the Mavericks will be one of the most interesting teams to follow this summer. Dallas has so many questions that need to be answered. Even if they make the playoffs this season, Kendrick Perkins' comments aren't off base. Many are beginning to believe that Luka hasn't become the guy for Dallas. However, that doesn't mean that he can't. Do you believe Luka can become the guy for the Dallas Mavericks in the future? Let us know your thoughts on the topic in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you again soon.